señor presidente electo.
Mr.
Buenas tardes en
President-elect,
Madrid.
good
Buenos
afternoon.
días aquí en Miami.
You are in Madrid. It's good morning here in Miami.
Y en allá, en esta calurosa mañana de Florida.
Bueno, es un placer darle la bienvenida a esta
It is a
primicia
pleasure
al
welcoming you
presidente
here,
electo
the
de Venezuela,
President-elect of
Edmundo Gonza
Venezuela,
lez. Presidente, si
Edmundo
quiere
Gonza
comenzar
lez,
con algunas
President.
palabras.
You can start with a few words if you like.
Tenemos un grupo de cientos de
We have a group
empresarios,
of, hundreds
académicos,
of entrepreneurs,
gente que está muy interesada en
academics,
saber cómo ve la
scholars, people that
perspectiva
are
de
very
tomar
interested
posesión
in-
el 10 de enero
in
y
seeing
todo lo
what
que
is
quiera
your
comentarnos
perspective for,
sobre lo que está
January 10th.
aconteciendo ahorita en
And
este momento
everything you
tan
wanna
importante,
tell us about what's going on
no
at
solamente
this
para
moment, which
Venezuela,
is so
sino para la
important,
América
not only
Latina
for
y para
Venezuela,
el
but for
mundo. La
Latin
palabra es suya.
America and the entire world.
Muchas gracias.
Your word.
De nuevo, muy agradecido por estar esta tarde con ustedes.
We faced a very delicate situation. So I should highlight to confirm this that in the last decade, we have experienced the greatest cycle of hyperinflation of history with decrease of 70% of our GDP, more than 50% of extreme poverty, and the exodus of the fourth part of our population. This deep crisis was not the result of any war or natural disaster. It was not a product of sanctions or blockages. It was actually a consequence of a new political and economic model that has a very negative profile, and it's not according to the rule of law. All the American entrepreneurs that have prospered in Venezuela are aware of this. Those who helped through their hard work create the years of thriving that our country had for decades. However, this new model, there are agendas of criminal actors and anti-democratic actors that eventually show that this is a new system that does not benefit them. And this new administration that I'm thinking of, that I'm looking to implement, is going to change everything. This situation does not eliminate the potentials for Venezuela, who accepts participating in these dubious businesses suffer all type of problems, including violation of their rights, property rights, and the risk. They take the risk of having financial impact in the trade with a regime that violates human rights and commits crimes to humanity. I do not know how many minutes I have for this intervention. Could you please let me know, and
Lo que
then I
usted
will
quiera,
adapt to your
presidente.
time. It
Formalmente
is up to you, Mr. President.
quedan 12
Formally,
minutos.
we have
Pero lo
12
que quiera.
minutes, but it is up to you. All you want. Okay. So we are trying to conduct a massive program of private and public investment in infrastructure and public goods to drive growth and productivity. Areas of priority are services in education, health, energy, and water, as well as the construction of roads, airports, ports, buildings, hospitals, telecommunication, and digital infrastructure. The international investment will be decisive and welcome in this realm. In the energy sector, our idea is to turn the country into the energy hub of the Americans in a context like the context we are living in today. We are looking to increase our sources of energy, and Venezuela has great conditions for that. It's very hard to find another country where there are more possible potentials for the conversion of renewable and non-renewable energies. Beyond our 300 millions of barrels of our oil reserve, which is the greatest in the planet, we also count on 200 millions of cubic feet of natural gas with enormous potential also for hydroelectric power with many possibilities that have not been explored yet. Possibilities will arise for massive investment of capital, private capital, international capital, great conditions in the global context that we live today. The recovery of an industrial oil capital, gas capital, and hydroelectric capital that is already installed but barely maintained will be a significant propulsion in this sense. Our resources will allow us to focus public policies in our priorities in terms of social matters, basic access to health and scholarization of 100% of our children and teenagers. All of that will be the primordial goals of our social policies. In matter of pensions, we are going to implement a mixed system of individual capitalization conducted by private administrators of pensions. The total coverage of the state will be applied to the generations that have lost what their savings are worth, and that's going to be elevated in the more vulnerable sectors of the society. An integral health system will be created where each person will have insurance complemented by the state proportional to the needs of each individual. We also will create a health fund through the contributions of all workers and the state. Who knows Venezuela knows of our possibilities of recovery, which are extraordinary. The country counts on abundant natural resources, significant capabilities, very skilled professionals, and a democratic tradition that is still alive in the heart of the Venezuelan people. Without getting into details, I'm going to pose the basic pillars of our policy that, along with Karina Maria Machado and the unitary platform, we intend to obtain in order to rebuild our nation. First, we're looking to implement a government change. And the first thing that we would do would be to eliminate the abusive control that prevents the development of the economy. In terms of political institutions, we are fostering a new relation between the state and society. We are going to potentialize the private public relationship in order to obtain a better democracy that serves the citizens and the forces of operation of a social economy of market. In our monetary plan, we will work for stabilizing the macroeconomical variables in a sustainable manner. We will reestablish the institutional independence of the Central Bank of Venezuela in order to implement a monetary program that allows us to reduce drastically the progression of the prices, combating inflation. Paying the public debt will be agreed with the creditors of our nation, negotiating the forms of payment in order to stabilize the economy in a sustainable manner in the long run. In terms of education, recovering the education for all kids and teenagers is our top priority. We're going to implement a plan to make sure that all kids and teenagers will have access to education, and also we're going to ensure that our teachers and professors will be well compensated. This plan of recovery lies on cooperation between the public and private sector. This will only be possible through freedom and democracy. That is our commitment. That is what we will do, and that's what we're going to focus all of our efforts on. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much, Mr. President. First, I want to ask you, how do you feel? How are you? I feel very well because there is a possibility for me to go back to the country and to take care of this position that I'm in as a president. I was elected by many Venezuelans. Yes, a great victory. So, what is the plan for you to take over the next January 10th? You don't have to give us too many details. Well, I just want to be there on January 10th, be in Venezuela, January 10th, and then take over as a president. Yes, sir, that's correct. What is the message that you would convey to the international community, not only the countries that are part of this community, but also the entrepreneurs? How can they help so that next January 10th you will take over as the president elect? Well, in my initial comments, there is a synthesis of what our economical and social policies will be. There are guidelines that we're going to follow, and we aspire to keep on advancing that program with private capital and international private capital. And what message would you convey to the government of the United States and the future government of the United States, particularly the president-elect Donald Trump, so they can help you in that peaceful transition to power? We intend to have cordial relations again, like it used to be for many years, and when we kept an effective cooperation in many senses. And what message would you bring to the people of Venezuela? What are you expecting from the country in case you take office, or in case that the dictator does not allow you to take office? Well, let's pay attention to this. Let's try to make the people's will become a reality on January 10th. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. President. Thank you for taking the time to be here. There is a full audience here that waiting for you to take office and to bring back democracy to Venezuela, and also that all those ideas that you talked about as in terms of your government plan are carried out, that they become a reality not only for the good of your country, but for the good of the entire hemisphere and the world, to make clear that democracy should get the victory, and there must be consequences when a dictator does not allow the will of the people to take place. Thank you all very much. Thank you.